off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay. The holiday.
On this show, no gossip and no podcast. We have Dr. John Gray, who was here a couple of times. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, mega bestseller. Don Miguel Ruiz with the 4 Agreements. I've had an amazing man, Rick O'Barry, who has single-handedly tried to free the dolphins from slaughter in Taiji, Japan. And there's a very moving interview that I have with him. And it was my very first episode for our deaf community. And so today is another one of those episodes. So thank you to Sharon Pierre-Lewis, who is my staff interpreter that comes and helps provide programming to our deaf community. Thank you, Sharon. Where's my Sharon? There we go. So grateful to have had her. That's one of the fabulous blessings of having cameras in the studio, which is sort of a new thing in this last year as we come up to the end of the year. Just being so grateful that you, my listeners, are very happy in tuning in and making my numbers grow phenomenally of this show. Just my YouTube numbers now went from 300 last year of views to 18,780 something yesterday. So thank you to all of my listeners for supporting. And as far as support's concerned, you can find many ways to purchase from my Balance Marketplace, the number 4 balance.org. And all of my proceeds go towards my peace work across the planet. And so that's what you can do. And actually, I'm putting an app together right now for the 21-day fast from complaining so that we can help stop the the great American pastime of complaining. But we're not complaining today because we have a very special guest in the studio. You may know her from with the professor. Her name is Maryann from Gilligan's Island, but she's also known as her real name. And I'm so delighted to have her in the studio today. Please welcome Miss Dawn Wells. You look amazing. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show today was to ask you your beauty secret.
Have any. I really, what it is when I was a teenager, I had such terrible acne, and they didn't have that proactive stuff that they have now. I spent hours hot packing my face with medicine, washing my face till I was at least 45 with a thing called Braceval, which was a abrasive exfoliating, so to
Wow,
speak.
you knew about that.
Oh, I was with a dermatologist once a week since I was in the 6th grade. And now when everybody's using, I don't use any moisturizer or anything. Finally, a little bit of that oil. I was going to call it oil of dawn and bottle it. I had so much of it, but I think that's what's made a difference.
It has. And I think too, your insides are so young and so life loving. And you have this very high vibration, which is when we met. I walked by you. I felt you before I saw you.
Did you really?
I really did. And then Harlan goes, "There's Dawn Wells." And I turned, I went, "Oh, hi. Do you remember that? That was at the theater. Yeah. And then I asked you then if you would come, and you said yes, you'd love to. And I've loved you even before that, but I'm so grateful.
Well, I love what you do. See, I think what you do, I would love to do radio.
Oh, well,
I really
can
would
make
love
that
to.
happen. We'd love to have you at the studio. Yeah.
I'd love to. Well, and it's so nice because you never get a chance on television. It's 3 minutes. Hello, 5, 6 questions, and it's over. You never get a chance to connect. I can look in your eye. We can really talk to each other.
Right.
Like
no
that.
sound bite. We're going to have a whole sound meal today.
That's right. Good. I'll have a Burger King, please.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is you have so many lovers of Maryann and Dawn Wells.
It's amazing. It's 50 years, you see.
50 years of one of the most popular shows, an iconic show. It really defined. I remember growing up watching it and being entertained. It was my father's favorite show.
Sure.
You were my father's favorite, actually. And every time I told people all week, because I was bragging, I'm having Maryann from Gilligan's Island on my show. And every single person, including on my Facebook, she was my favorite.
Well, she would have been your best friend. She wouldn't try to steal your boyfriend. She also helped you cook and clean. She would have been a girlfriend. She'd have gone to prom with you. She was just a pretty, that's what I did in my book, kind of. Where is that Maryann today?
Right.
Are we all after the $500 purse? Are we all trying to compete with the Kardashians? Where is that 13 and 14-year-old little girl that you mothers are raising out there? It's really tough. Really tough.
It is. And yes, your book is called What Would Maryann Do?
A Guide to Life. What would Maryann do? And it's not a goody two-shoes book, but when we went on the island, birth control wasn't even invented. The pill. Okay. Well, half the people never got pregnant. I mean, never went to bed with somebody afraid of getting pregnant. Now, this hooking up is really something. Nobody worries about that anymore at all.
Right.
And now you drop Maryann back here. And what has happened in civilization, the real nitty gritty, the real works of people are still the same. Morality is still the same. Kindness, manners, working hard, caring about what you're doing, love your neighbors, so to speak. But we don't talk about that.
Right. Yeah.
It's not in front of us all the time.
That's why there's a rule, no K words on this show. We don't talk about the Kardashians.
Shh. I didn't mean that. I think I was talking about the Smiths, I think.
No, but I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely want, it's not that we want to go to the dark ages, but we certainly want to retain and bring back those things that really made us feel good about ourselves. Because you turn the TV on now, the things that we see, I've been told Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith calls it media, the weapon of mass distraction. And if you look at TV and reality shows or any kind of shows, they are founded on what is wrong or what is the worst part of humanity.
That's what we look for.
Stealing, the corruption, the raping, the killing, the bullying. We said at the same time.
Yes. A little kid who doesn't know anything is just destroyed by some of the little cliques and things. Yes.
Right. So when you, well, first of all, I have to say, are you a good girl?
I'm a good girl.
Okay. I have to qualify
And
that.
exactly what does that description mean?
Why
Yeah,
be
yeah.
good when bad is better, right?
No,
No,
I'm a good
but
girl.
let's look at this contrast. So
Mhm.
today, so then you were the first one that wore short shorts.
Ever on TV.
Ever on TV. So you were pushing the edge of the envelope. So is what's going on today just another way of pushing the edge of the envelope? So you wearing short shorts is twerking, whatever that is, today, just pushing that doing something that's a little bit scandalous.
That many years ago. Now they're topless on a piano singing and people half naked. But you sit back and look at it. We're talking about marijuana now. You sit back and look at it. Look at Prohibition. Look at the people that had the bathtub gin. Then look at the flappers when their skirts went high and they showed their legs a little bit. And then when they cut their hair, there's always a new generation trying to make a difference somewhere.
Right.
It
But
can
have
be dangerous.
have we overdone it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it's because things
Yeah.
are too easy, maybe.
Yeah.
One of the things I was reading when I was writing my book, I read an article, or maybe I heard it on television. Most famous people, 7 of the most famous people. What was the lesson that you learned most? Or what turned your head? And this one CEO said, well, you know what it was? I was about 4. And I was in my kitchen and I wanted a glass of milk. And my mother said, well, you can get it yourself. And of course, the carton was too heavy and I spilled it all over the floor.
Right.
Her reaction was, well, you're going to have to clean it up anyway. Play in it while you want to. Now, don't do that, or why did you do that?
Right. Right.
The mother was wise enough. Sure, he had to clean it up, but he said, I splashed around in it for a while and then cleaned it up. It does something to your psyche. And I was raised by a really good mother.
You were.
Yes.
You were.
Yes.
So she was not a Brooke Shields kind of mom.
No, I don't know anything about Brooke Shields' mother, but my mother, she knew where I was every single minute, every single minute. And my parents were divorced, so she had the responsibility of
Oh, I
a
didn't
girl
know that.
alone.
Okay.
My mother and father were good friends. My mother did not date. She did not want me to have a stepfather. I think she always still loved my dad, but I had 2 families that loved me. There was no discord.
Right.
We all had Thanksgiving dinner together and everything. Yes, my father had a great deal of money. My mother worked very hard in a little tract house. There was none of that jealousy. I never heard any of that. I was loved unconditionally. Spied on way too much. She knew I have a couple, I don't know how long we have, a couple of very funny stories.
Yes, please.
I'm a graduate of Stevens College, which is all women, and it was a 2-year school. And I was transferring to the University of Washington. I grew up in Reno, where there's gambling and prostitution and divorce. Where did Maryann come from? Is what I want to know.
Yes, out of the ashes.
Yep. And I was a junior at Washington, and my college sweetheart was an All-American football player there, and he lived in Pomona. So he said, I'll pick you up in Reno. We'll drive to Seattle. My mother went, no, I don't think you should be in a car for 12 hours with a boy alone. I'm not sure.
How old were you at this time?
I was 20.
Okay.
Between my junior and senior year in college, I was and been away to school.
Right.
I don't think that's right. So she let me anyway. So my head's against the window and we're speeding somewhere in Oregon, and the highway patrol pulled us over. And I sat up. I said, Al, were you speeding? He said, I don't think so. Rolled down the window, and the highway patrolman said, is there a Dawn Wells in the car? Call your mother. Now that's pretty tough. Well, I couldn't have gone anywhere. Now, fast forward, I'm 60. I've climbed the mountains of gorillas in Rwanda. 5 of 6 of my Stevens College friends went to Rwanda, where no white women have ever been. We canoed from island to island, no running water, no electricity. Pretty primitive. And I'd been there 6 weeks. Coming back in a little puddle jumper at the Sydney airport, getting ready to come back to the United States, and a pilot is walking down. I'm 60 years old now. Pilot is walking down the terminal, and he said, aren't you Maryann from Gilligan's Island? I said, yes. He said, your mother's been looking for you all day. Now, where? Is she calling the tower? Who was she talking to? I don't know. But I guess I knew in my heart I could never get away with it. Or was it just respect? I don't know. I don't know.
Is she still here?
No.
No,
We
she's
lost
on
her
the
about
other
4
side.
years ago, but
Oh,
she's
okay.
97.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yes, that's so. What did she think about you doing all this acting and wearing short shorts and being the professor's girl?
She never talked anything about that. The only thing she would say, if I did a play called The Owl and the Pussycat, where the language is kind of tough, and she'd sit in the audience and she'd say to the neighbor, my daughter doesn't really talk that way. That's the author.
Cute.
No, she was very proud of me. She was not a stage mother at all. But she was very proud of what I did.
So there's no acting in the family. None.
My
So
mother's mother was a pianist, and she played at Piper's Opera House in Virginia City during the gold rush.
So when did you get the bug?
Well, I took a lot of speech in high school. Never did a play. And then I was at Stevens College, and because of my knees, I had to only take 2 or 3 sports, archery and canoeing or something. So I took a theater course. And my professor said, "You're really good at this. You ought to major." And I went, "Are you kidding? An out-of-work actor doesn't interest me at all."
Right.
But I transferred from Stevens because it was a 2-year school to the University of Washington in Seattle,
Mhm.
which had a fabulous theater department and a good med school.
Mhm.
So I double majored. And I was asked to run for Miss Nevada in the Miss America pageant, which is no big deal. There's only 10 girls in the whole state. But I mean, California's real competition. But I wanted to see, and I was so little, I didn't think I'd ever had a chance, but I wanted to see if I could get up in front of an audience
Mhm.
and do a scene.
Mhm.
And I went to the pageant. I didn't win it, of course, but I went to the Miss America pageant. And when I graduated, I said, I'll give myself 2 years.
Mhm.
And if I'm not working, I'm going back to med school. And I made a decision between LA and New York because New York was mostly musical comedy and I don't sing.
Right.
So I came to Los Angeles, and I was just telling Amy, who came with me, I got my first job doing a play
Mhm.
with Mercedes McCambridge at the Music Box Theater right across from Grauman's Chinese or Man's Chinese Theater. It was a very shishi little theater. So because of my theater training, I was seen by agents, and then I just went to work.
And I heard you were up against Raquel Welch. for
Everybody
the
says
role?
that, and
No,
I don't
it's
know.
not
Well,
true?
well, I think so, but we were in like one of the sound stages at CBS, and there must have been 300 people auditioning for all 3 parts and different matching people up. And
Mhm.
somebody said that she came in the last day or something and
Okay.
auditioned, but
Okay, you don't know. If
I don't know.
that's-
I
Okay.
never met her.
And then the professor just passed to the other side.
yes.
Yeah, and you guys were pretty close.
Really
Yes.
close. We were,
Yeah.
and the rest, that first year.
Right. I heard about that. You
And
weren't
he-
even mentioned in the
No,
jingle.
No.
Yeah.
He was lovely, just lovely.
Yeah. I had a friend, Virginia, say to me, I go, why did you love Maryann so much? And she goes, because you got always to be with the professor.
That's it right there. Somebody said, was there a choice between Professor and Gilligan? I said, are you crazy? Are you nuts?
What was the best memories that you had working on set with that whole cast?
Well, I think we loved the dream sequences when we got to be other people. I got to be a witch and I got to be an Eliza Doolittle. And some of the guest stars that came on were wonderful to work with. A couple of the episodes you kind of remember, they come in and say somebody's surfing in and surfing off and doesn't know where he is. We'd say, are you kidding? I mean, the plots are really silly, but the talent was good on that show. I mean, it really was. I think Bob was a genius. He did Maynard G. Krebs on whatever that show was. Prior, Dobie Gillis.
Okay.
And he was playing a real beatnik.
Right.
Totally different what he was playing in this.
Right.
And his physical humor, falling out of trees and falling down. It was a good chemistry between all of us, I thought.
Right. Right. And how many seasons?
Only 3, but we did 39 episodes a year.
Wow.
So that'd be about a 5-6 year run by now.
Right. Right. And what was the most challenging part? Were there any, give me the, what I call my moose on the table.
Well, there's a story about a lion that I talk about because it really sticks in my mind. We all believe that the trainers know what they're doing, and they do. And we had a big old male lion that was with us for 4 days. You had to get the women's cycles all the same. Even the crew.
Wow.
That the animal couldn't be around all of that. So it was taken strategically to plan it all. And then he was with us on the soundstage, not outdoors. And just a rope around his neck, a big, big rope. And the trainer was quite young.
I'm sorry, you still have me back on synchronizing.
Well, I know. I don't think I've ever said that out loud. And there's a gentleman in the studio. You didn't hear that, did you?
Yeah, you didn't hear that. If you're
what are we talking about?
If you're wondering what we're talking about and who's in the studio with me, you're tuned in right now to take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balance with Dr. Marissa, and we are pleased as punch to have Maryann from Gilligan's Island. Yes, you did hear that voice, and we're talking about syncing cycles here for a lion on the set of Gilligan's Island. Don Wells, keep going.
Well, and it was kind of frightening. And Mrs. Howell didn't want to be around it very much. And there was a scene where the lion was behind us. We were sitting on rocks. And the trainer said, that's the most dangerous if you've got your back to the lion. So Natalie wouldn't do it. You weren't allowed to scream out loud. So we go with our mouth open and run slowly away from him and then run so he wouldn't just jump at you.
Wow.
You know? And Bob and I both wanted to pet him. And the guy said, well, you don't just pet him, you pet him. Because if you just pet him, he'll think you're a mosquito and he'll take your hand off. Wow. So Bob and I wasn't afraid, and Bob wasn't afraid. Natalie was terrified. But now it's Friday night at 7:00, and it's the last shot of the day. And the lion is pacing now. He's been awake since about 6:00.
Right.
Cats are at night, and the trainer's got a hold of his rope, and he's just pacing back and forth. And the set is the inside of the hut, and the fourth wall is the camera. So it's all filled with people. Hut is the other 3 sides.
Right.
And Gilligan is supposed to, I'm too far away.
I want it down so
There, okay.
I want it down so we can see your beautiful face.
Oh my goodness, don't you? And how does it look this morning?
It looks fabulous.
He's supposed to enter the hut, close the door, and discover that the lion's sitting on the bed.
Mhm.
So they get the lion on the bed, and they're all ready to shoot, and they say action. And Bob comes flying through the door, sees the lion, and the lion leaps for him.
Oh.
Takes a jump for him. He's as close as from me to this wall, 8 feet, maybe 10 feet away.
Oh my goodness.
And Bob goes like this. He takes the karate chop position. Like if I hit him between the eyes, he'll faint. But with that, the two twin beds were not tied together. They split. And the lion lost his balance.
Oh,
and because he lost his
goodness.
balance, the trainer was able to come in and get him. And I have nightmares about that, because had that not happened, had the prop man been really secure and secured the two beds, the lion would have been right on top of him.
Wow.
So that's one of the memories. There were a lot of really fun memories, but that's pretty shocking.
Was there any conflict on the show?
No,
No,
I never saw anything like
really.
that. Mm-mm.
Not because people pit you and
Ginger together
all the
always.
time.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but you're good.
We're good.
Sure,
I mean, we're
yeah.
not the best of friends. We don't kind of move in the same circles, but
Right.
I was in awe. She was a movie star.
Mhm.
You know, she
Yeah.
got us our false eyelashes from New York, and they were mink way back then.
Oh,
Mink is like you were looking through a mink coat.
Yeah.
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 She was very kind of quiet and to herself, but
Mhm.
I never saw any tempers or refusing to do anything like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, because that's the only. Apparently, she's the only one that said she really didn't enjoy doing the show
No.
because it typecast her.
Well,
So
I mean, she could go. I did Eleanor of Aquitaine from
yeah,
not Night of the Iguana. What play am I in? I mean, I've broken
And
that
you've
mold
done a
on
lot.
purpose, and
And
she
you've
was on
done a lot.
Broadway doing things.
right. Yeah.
She just
So-
didn't want to be identified with it.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I'm
It's okay.
glad that So you do a lot. Besides this book, I know you've been on Broadway. You're still doing stuff. You Steel Magnolias, I think, was the
It was the last thing I did.
was the
yeah.
last thing you
Mhm.
did. And so, what would you say to listeners who think that they're too old to do anything?
If you can get up and move around, if you can talk and if you can hear, and if you can see.
Right.
No, I don't think you're ever too old for something.
Right.
I think you have to. I've kind of gone with the age bracket I am, you know.
Mhm.
I did Lion in Winter last summer, and I thought, oh boy, to be able to do that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do
Can
that.
I ask how young you are?
I'm 75.
It's amazing. This is amazing.
Well,
I want to look as
Well,
good
you
as
look beautiful.
do.
I have no idea how old you are.
I'm
but-
ageless.
Well, I am
so-
too. I mean, you know, it is in your head.
It is.
And I'm optimistic. I
That's
look
where-
forward for something tomorrow. I'm very
Mhm.
happy, and
Yes.
I'm very positive.
Yes.
Do you have children?
I have two beautiful girls,
Well, see.
17 and 15.
Well, so
Yeah.
you could be a grandmother at some point.
I could be.
Yeah.
I could
Well,
be.
see, I'm not. I don't even have children, so no one's
I
going to be
didn't
calling
know
me
that.
grandma, which is also something here. Grandma. We don't let our hair go gray anymore,
right.
like grandmas used to.
Right.
People are beautiful, still in their 70s and 80s. I
True.
just had lunch with Carol Channing and just blew me away.
I love her.
Oh my gosh, and sharp
Isn't
as a
she-
tack and
she's
funny.
What is she?
93.
93. I met her. I was a speaker at the California Women's Conference. Actually, I'm on the board, and
Oh wow.
I'm one of the highlights of the conference was I met her, and she looked at me and she smiled and she says, "You're beautiful," and I went, "Ma."
Isn't she
love her.
lovely?
She doesn't do radio. I've been trying. Harlan,
doesn't.
I want,
know,
but
I
she
know.
won't do it. But I just, that's the wisdom and the grace with which I would like to move through life the way she has.
Well, you are moving
and,
through it now, and you have
thank
children,
you.
which makes a difference too. You'll like
Yeah.
that book.
Yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
It talks to me. What do you tell your 15-year-old?
Well, let's talk.
But I don't mean to
about
get
that.
back to the book, but I think
Yeah.
that's I have not.
No, no, no.
I'm not leaving any. When I go, I'm gone.
Yeah,
know, I
but
don't
but
have
no,
any
you've left.
siblings.
You're leaving like no siblings either.
Well, I had my father and stepmother adopted 2 children, and my brother is gone now, and my sister.
Mhm.
I call her my sister, of course, but I don't have any
Hmm.
really any.
but
blood
are you
relatives.
lonely?
No,
Nah, I knew
No.
that was going to be.
but
the
I
answer.
surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the
Mhm.
one cooking for Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the
Mm-hmm.
orphans that have no place to go.
Aw, I'm gonna have no place to go, so I
Okay,
can come
okay,
over.
come on over. You have to
I
bring a
was
dish.
hoping I was going to call you to say, "Are you bringing a coconut cream pie?" When you did the interview with Sandra Bullock, I was like, "Do I get a coconut cream
And
pie?"
did you see? I don't know where they got it, but it was the worst looking coconut cream pie. It was sliding around inside the pan.
So you didn't actually make that?
No,
Oh,
no.
you lied.
I'd have been much better cook.
But there is a question that I really wanted you to answer because I think you're qualified to do so. We see how many young women do we have to see go the way of the Lindsay Lohans and the Amanda Bynes? Is where can we reset that system? And is it like I don't want to blame. I don't want to point fingers. I know I'm one of those multiple systemic thinkers. There's more than one reason that the thing is as it is, and you can't just say, well, we're going to fix the welfare system by blank. We're going to fix this, this Hollywood syndrome of good people go bad because of whatever. But from Maryann, from A Guide to Good Life, what needs to change in Hollywood? And
I know exactly what you're saying. I
Yes.
think part of that Hollywood is parents that are pushing kids, and they start when they're young. And this little kid who's a beautiful little girl or a really handsome little boy that gets kind of popular between 10 and 15 when all those hormones and everything. And now you think that that's what the world's going to be. Everybody's going to be loving you, and because you're pretty and all of that, do you develop? Then the parents manage. And I think that's tough too, because then all of a sudden it becomes more important to the mother that the child's working than what the child should have 2 weeks off and study or math or whatever. And I think living in this vicinity is not easy either, because who are you hobnobbing with? Are you going to a regular North Hollywood high school, or are you in a school where there's other talented children? It's very, 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 very difficult. And I really, my mother knew where I was every second. I could have told my father anything.
Right.
And I was writing the book thinking, okay, why didn't I run away? Why didn't I slap my mother and storm out of the house like kids do?
Right.
Respect. But how do you say respect me?
Right.
What is it that caused me to respect her? It's a fine line.
It is
a real
fine line.
Now,
It
I know
is
a
a
lot of
fine
parents
line.
are trying their darndest, but then they get spoiled on the set. Somebody's doing their hair and powdering their nose and trying on all these clothes, and you can't. When I was at my college, I'm at women's college, and I was interviewing the girls. I got quite a few together, but about 6 were right at my table. I said, let me ask you a question. Would Maryann survive today? And one little girl's thought, she said, no, she wouldn't. She's too nice. She's too fair. She doesn't know how to be mean. And the other girl said, there are way too many gingers today. And I went, oh, that's what it says right now. She was all about this. And Maryann was the worker. I don't know how you as a parent keep track with all this electronic stuff.
Right. It's beautiful on the inside is important as beautiful on the outside.
Oh, yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And that I'm very grateful my kids, we started with a gratitude exercise for the last 11 years. As soon as we leave the house, they have to be grateful for 3 things. And everybody we take to school with us has to go through the same deal with us, 3 gratitudes, and then an appreciation exercise. What do I appreciate about you? What do I appreciate about you? And what do I appreciate about
share
me? And we share it out loud, and we do that
fabulous.
every day. And just that in itself, I have a book coming out, Balanced
fabulous.
Parenting. I had to wait until I saw if my kids were
turning out okay. Well, the one in jail we don't talk about.
Yeah, right.
The illegal grandchildren who ship them off somewhere. No, and it even though you can be a terrific mother, those things happen.
True.
So it isn't blaming anybody.
No, it is, but it does make a difference. And what kind of soft spot did they have to land in? And I'm getting the signal from my assistant producer. It's time to go for break to thank the sponsors of this particular show. And so we'll be right back. If you've been listening, this is Gilligan's Island. We're taking a 1-hour tour with Don Wells, Maryann from Gilligan's Island. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
Have you ever had a sweet potato cookie? Be the talk of the holiday table with Yum Good cookies and 4 unique tastes. All sweet potato with either pecan, ginger pecan, pineapple coconut, even topped with almonds. Available in West LA. So follow us on social media and visit www.yamgoodcookies.com to order. A holiday treat launched in the season of Thanksgiving that will now be enjoyed all year long. So have a Yum Good holiday.
Have a sports injury? Is your posture pulling you down? Does your body feel like it needs a tune-up? Have you been in an accident and you're not getting real relief from the pain? Then it's time for a free consultation with the experienced, comfortable expertise at Seal Beach Physical Therapy. With offices conveniently located in Newport Beach, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, and Seal Beach, don't delay. Make your body pain disappear with excellent hands and state-of-the-art equipment at Seal Beach Physical Therapy. That's SealBeachPT.com. SealBeachPT.com.
What's the most powerful word on the planet? Yes. If you want to be inspired by award-winning authors and teachers who write about the many facets of yes and how it transforms life and one's love of life, then pick up the Yes book today. Jill Cooper in Exalt Road Publication brings you stories of transformation, confession, research, poems, and manifestos that witness the power of yes. Available at Amazon and exaltroad.com. The Yes Book, a perfect affirmative gift for the holidays. Say yes, I want to celebrate my life.
And welcome back. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon on ubnradio.com out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California, and on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on my newly syndicated NBC News radio station, KCAA AM 1050. And yes, you just did hear from one of my sponsors. I just came out in print again. This is the Yes Book. And the Yes Book has a chapter by yours truly called Yes to Me, Myself, and I. And as I live up to my Asian Oprah dubbed honorable moniker, I will be giving out one of these books at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. And because I've gotten a lot of fingers given to me, thumbs up by endorsements on LinkedIn and Facebook, I told them that if they did that this week, I would thank them on the air on my Maryann show. So Mari Shatani, Petro, Colleen, Victor, Michelle Patterson, Eva, Glenn Atkinson, Cheetah Thomas, Margaret Essex, Jersey Parker, Lori Soki, Siren Ekabach, Denise Galera, Bernadette Speaks, Cy Jackson, Jesse Sherrod, Andrew Drew, Derek Anthony, Emma Johnson, and Dwayna Rankin. Thank you very much for being Dr. Marissa listeners. Also, a very special shout out to RJ Peterson for being the first to donate towards the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa, the app version. So thank you for that. And back now to our guest of the hour tour, Dawn Wells, Maryann from Gilligan's Island, who has written a book called A Guide to a Happy Life.
Guide to life.
Guide to Life.
What would Maryann do?
Yes. So how happy should we be? I mean, I say 88% because 8 is a magic number in Chinese. It's a homonym for good fortune. That's why I say 88%. So are you happy all the time, or is there time that you need to have contrast?
Well, I guess in this business, there's always a contrast because you're always disappointed when you're up for something and you don't get it, or you try so hard or you don't get it, or something like that. But I am really happy most of the time. I'm impatient. That's my big flaw. I'm impatient with myself. I'm impatient. I want to get it done and get it done now, kind of thing. But I'm mostly happy. I mean, I was ill not long ago, but I was in the hospital for a few days, and I would think, oh, this is interesting. Is this how this works? And whether, rather than getting into, I wonder if I'm going to catch something from somebody in the bed next to me.
Right.
Or something. I'm a positive person, but my mother was very much a worrier. And I think maybe I had to
the
counteract that.
antithesis, right, of that helps. So when, going back when we're talking about the Hollywood and this, what I think is we contribute to the problem because we listen and social media, the downside of social media is being distracted constantly by bad girls doing bad things or good girls doing bad things. And so we listen and then we spread it by talking about it. Oh, did you hear what she did? And then people shake their heads and go, what's wrong with young people today? Or what's wrong with, or Hollywood's on. And then so we go down that track. What can we do so that we don't feed into that?
Boy, I don't know, except that just not get involved in expressing it. But I don't know that you can stop someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And you see these little kids, 13, 14-year-olds that are suicidal because of the bullying. And oh my gosh, if you're one of those 4 little girls that were bullying her, don't you know what you're doing? And it doesn't mean that their parents aren't paying attention either.
Right.
I think it's too much what they're watching.
I think too, and which is why I have this show, is we feed into media that does bring out the worst in people. So if we're reporting the stuff that's bad,
All
and
that's
then
wrong.
we pay attention to
Mhm.
what's wrong with people, and then we talk about what's wrong with people, we continue to perpetuate what's wrong with people. But if we choose to bring people like Maryann from Gilligan's Island onto the set and onto my show and to talk about the good and what the good things that are happening in life, that you're 75 and thriving and doing amazing things and just following your heart's passion continually, and that it's never too late or you're never too old, and bringing out what was good on the show and not talking trash about what happened on the set, that is my contribution and your
Yes, yes.
contribution to
Positive outlook to everything that you're talking about.
exactly. It's a
And you still can
choice.
complain though about something. You can still say, "I'm just so
Absolutely.
tired of hearing those kids use those dirty words or something." I have a laughing thing to myself. I designed a line of clothing about 15, 20 years ago for people who couldn't dress themselves, people in nursing homes, people who lost the ability. And you go into a nursing home and they've got everything on backwards. The caregivers don't have time. Blah blah blah.
Mm.
So I thought, well, this is interesting. We quick change on stage. Why can't you quick change something? So never mind. Medicare wasn't interested. Families will support little children, but they don't necessarily take care of their great grandmother, etc. But one of the retirement homes and nursing homes that I visited a lot. I had a friend for 11 years in one. They have their little, once every Sunday afternoon or something, the Frank Sinatra music, and they kind of dance to that kind of music. I said, just flash forward here.
Mm.
Let's go 50 years from now. You're going to see everybody in that nursing home with the tattoos are now going to be hanging all the way down to their arms, and they're going to be dancing to P. Diddy. Now, I mean, just stop and think about it. Where are all those tattoos and earrings going to go at a certain point? But there's a trend every
The visual
generation.
there.
Yeah, I know.
Dawn is
There's a comedy
yes.
in this. There's a
Yes.
Saturday Night Live skit here somewhere, I think.
The tattoo monologues.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think you should bring out that line of clothing again. I think there's enough people now in that, having to care for their parents and parents
And
that
at
are
home
in there.
and looking
Yeah.
pretty in a velvet
Yeah.
robe and all
No,
that.
I think
got
it's
ripped
great.
off by a
Well, that's
clothing company.
another reason why
Yeah.
I'm giving you the Dr. Marissa Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today, because
you.
of what a great, creative, helpful, beneficial idea. Clothing for people who can't dress themselves.
And as you get better,
Brilliant. What's the line called?
Was called Wishing Wells.
Wishing Wells. We are going to see the resurgence of Wishing Wells as of today on today's show. No, I'm serious. I think that's a great idea. I think it's very well needed because we do have an aging population.
Yes.
Even though you're not the typical aging population because you're
Well, so far.
Yes.
And you never know what's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is great. So what would you wish for yourself first, for the next however many years on
Good
this
health
side?
for good health and a good mind.
Good health and a good mind.
I would hate to be losing my mind. Good health, a good mind.
And then what would you wish for, let's say, everyone on the planet? What are some specific wishes that you would
I would
have?
say slow down and smell the roses.
Mm.
Don't run so fast through it all, because where did 50 years go for me? 50 years since Gilligan's Island, it was yesterday to me. So slow down and smell those roses, and slow down and appreciate, like you say, you have a gratitude every morning. I do it before I go to sleep. What was the best thing about my day? What things could I have improved? What am I going to do tomorrow?
Good. Yeah.
I do that always. I'm always thinking ahead, but maybe sometimes you don't feel good, and sometimes you can't walk, and sometimes the Alzheimer's would be the toughest, but then you don't know. It's your family that suffers.
Right.
So I just say, do the best you can. Look at, treat other people the way you want to be treated. Listen, be gracious. Who are you? What am I doing here? Is this Hollywood? Oh, that's what I heard so much about this place.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist. That's beautiful. Now, my daughters and I also go through a peak and a pit at the end of the day. What was your peak and what was your pit?
Oh, that's good.
So that's, I'm following you. You.
I live alone. I have nobody to talk it over with. I'm going to call you up and say, this day, I tell you, I had a terrible day today.
No, it is. It's so important. And you have people in your life that love you. You have a lot of people in your life that love you that you don't even realize, I think.
No, I know.
That love
I'm
you,
blessed.
that you feel it. Where can we get your book?
You can get your book, my website, dawnwells.com. I'll personalize it for you if you want.
That's
or
beautiful.
Barnes & Noble. I'm doing a book signing at Romans. And I'm doing a book signing. I think Romans is my next.
Okay. So donwells.com, double L, one S. And you can sign up.
You can just go on
there.
and order a book, and I'll personalize it, or you can just go to your bookstore.
Great gift idea for the coming holidays. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I will personally buy a book and then give it away as my Asian.
Why didn't I
Opera.
bring one?
I don't know.
Well,
I guess I should have asked
should have.
Harlan too. That's okay.
No, I would
That's
have normally.
okay.
It was pouring rain and I was late. So
Yeah. Well, this weather
it's
is
my excuse.
wonderful.
I'll get you one.
Oh, thank you.
You have
Thank
to keep
That
it for
would be-
yourself, though.
I will keep it for myself, and then we'll buy another one to give away for the show. How's that?
I may give you two. Hey, we got something going here.
That's
Sure.
wonderful.
Sure.
So what would you, let's see, what's the one chapter in your book that, if speed readers like me, if there was one chapter in the book that you think that I would benefit from the book most?
Oh boy, because I don't think there's any problem. We're talking about aging. I don't think there's any problem with being a parent, because you seem to have it all there. You seem to be doing such good work for the world.
Mhm.
I don't know what advice what chapter would you like the best? I have one that says I really like men. That's one of my chapters.
Let's do it.
I like men.
That's it. That's it.
I do.
I was channeling that. I pre-recorded the sexual healing with Dr. Marissa episode right before you.
Oh, you
by
did?
the way, I do once a week.
Oh,
Sorry,
gosh.
once a month.
Okay.
It seems like once a week, but I am determined to make pleasure a G spot rated or a G rated topic, because we don't talk about
No, we don't.
pleasure
We don't.
in a positive way, and we don't teach our kids about pleasure because it's too embarrassing. Even though my daughter says, "Mom, can we make it through one dinner without bringing up vagina?" So
I'm
I
going to
do
say, don't say
overdo
that
it.
word. That's what she would say. Don't say
Okay,
that
so tell me about men. You were
Well,
married.
I was married. I was married 7 years. We were not a good fit. We were on a same career track. I got a divorce. My father died with a mistake in the hospital, and the series was canceled all the same day. All the same day. But we remained friends. He and I remained friends. We
Okay.
just weren't suited at all.
Okay.
And I took care of him the last 5 or 6 years of his life, on and
Oh.
off. I liked his mind. I liked his mind. Didn't know him long enough. He was very erratic.
Mhm.
And I'm a positive person. I don't want somebody that's a downer, and I don't want somebody that doesn't feel like he's contributing something in this world. I mean, I like men. I'd rather have a discussion with most men than with most women. Now, not
Why?
so well, because most women are talking about fashion or their children or their relationships or something. Most men are talking about something other than that.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with women talking
Right.
that way,
But you don't have children.
but I don't have
so-
that to
right,
share. And
right.
I'm a real football freak, so I want to know the Packers, how
Who's
they do.
Oh, Packers. Okay. My sister
How do the
produces
Packers
there.
do? No, and I'm because I was never raised with brothers and sisters and playing sports and stuff. But I think if everybody does the best they can, if they get up in the morning saying, "Thank you for being here. This is the best I'm going to do," then you feel good about yourself when you go to bed. And sometimes it's overwhelming.
Mm,
It's overwhelming, some of the things, the tragedies that people are going through, and still come through it.
right.
I haven't really been tested.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference.
For you. So are you interested in dating?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Here we go. I asked Fran Drescher what she wanted in a man. She gave me 5 S's: single, straight, successful, sexy. I always forget that last one. Smart. She got the smart definitely with the patent holder to email. So you get to manifest
marry
it
the
too.
patent holder?
Yeah, she did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
that's
did.
great. She's a neat lady.
Yes, she is. So we're going to manifest the same thing for you today. So she manifested hers about a year after she was on the show. So what are you looking for in a man? What would you
Smart.
like? Smart,
Gentle and fair.
gentle, and fair.
Have to be 5.
Yeah, no.
Because kindness, I think, is important.
Okay.
Feels good about himself.
Feels good
Not
about
trying to
himself.
prove something,
Uh-huh.
Fun.
Okay.
Happy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Money
Okay.
is not essential. Doing something he loves to do is.
Okay.
Now, you're probably getting to my people that are retired,
Right.
but that are contributing.
Older,
still.
younger, does it matter? You want to be a cougar?
I think I am, but we're not going to talk about that either, are we? I don't know.
Yes. Well,
Oh my goodness.
yes.
yeah.
Now that you opened that Pandora
You
box.
said that word out loud. I didn't.
It just slipped in. Sorry.
Well, it's so funny, right? At this stage of my life, the men that are really interested in me are in their 40s and 50s.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Because they were kids and that crush is there.
Right.
And some I'm old enough to be their mother.
Right.
Haven't gone that far.
Yeah, but you're okay with that.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with a younger man. I don't know if somebody old enough to be his mother for sure.
Yeah.
It's all about the person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like a 90-year-old man if he's got it together and listening and having fun. Not just fun, though. I love a good father. If he's a good father, good to his mother, speaks well of his ex-wife. All of those things that tell me a lot about you.
Okay. I'm playing matchmaker. So if you meet all of those qualifications, please send your picture to me at the number 4balance.org. I will pass it on to Maryann. We'll see what we can do. I mean, you never know.
I'm a great fly fisherman.
Ooh, wow. You're getting more and more attractive to the men.
Oh, good. Let's see. I wear this kind of perfume. No.
Yeah. What perfume do you wear?
I think men should be friends. I think you should. I have a lot of male friends. Their point of view.
Where do you go fly fishing regularly?
Well, I did a fly fishing show all over the world called Dawn Wells Real Adventures about 10 years ago with a female fly fisher champion from Canada. And we went with just a team of 6. Were you?
Yeah.
Where? What part?
Kitchener-Waterloo.
Where's
Little
that?
town halfway between Toronto and Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cold right now. I'm going to Toronto in a couple of weeks.
Are you? So am I.
Are you up for the boat? I'm going for the boat show. The SS Minnow's been restored.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
That is so fun. So you're going to be launching that again?
Well, for their boat show. I did it in Vancouver, but they take it out for charity events.
Oh,
it's wonderful what they've done.
Is that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll see you.
Oh, we'd love it. I don't know
family. I'm there. My family's all there.
I'm going up about just after New Year's, I think.
Okay, we have like a 3-day overlap. We'll see, but we'll talk about it. That sounds great.
And I fished all over the world, and it was wonderful, all through Canada and stuff. I'm a real good fly fisherman.
I totally think we can find you a date.
Do you think so? Come on.
No. We're gonna have like a plethora. I'm gonna have more people contacting me for you than they do for me.
You're gonna screen them? Are you gonna screen them?
I will
a background
screen
check
them for you. In fact, I just the sexual healing show will be with David Cruz, who is working on Millionaire Matchmaker with Patty Cruz.
Wow.
I'm Patty Stanger, David Cruz. Have you heard that show? It's
No.
an award-winning Bravo show. So maybe we'll get you on there.
Are you single?
I am single.
Well, see,
I know. I
should be asking you those questions. Where do you find somebody interesting?
That's true. Fran Drescher's 5S, same thing. Success is really, I think, my aphrodisiac. I want someone who really, and here's and maybe you have some advice for me. So I don't qualify as ginger necessarily. I don't think I qualify as Maryann, but I am that dichotomy of strong at work but soft at home. And you too, right?
Me too.
And so that whole trying to find the balance, and my license plate and my website's all about balance. So it's a big joke that the work that I do is actually for me, and the side effects, it helps other people. But how do you find a man who is an alpha man, because I want an alpha man, but then not fight or not be irritated when they try to take control?
Well, it's very difficult. It's very difficult because where do you find them? Because if they're our ages, they have families and children and ex-wives, and all that comes in part of the package.
Right.
And it's very difficult. I'm very strong. You're very strong, I'm sure. I still like a man to make most of the decisions, but you better listen to me if I have a point of view, kind of thing. I think at this point in my life, I have a lot of wisdom.
You do?
That you didn't at 40.
Right.
Right. And I think I can peg you pretty quickly. I don't know if you can, but I can read a man pretty quickly. But they're all fawning over me, and I don't mean it that way, but it's a crush. It's a crush they had when they were 12.
Right.
So get through that, get past that.
Right.
I mean, if I were just a school teacher in Podunk, Iowa, would you be interested in me?
Right.
And if you weren't a millionaire on top of the Century Tower and were a school teacher, would I be interested in you? Success is important in the fact that he feels good about what he did and can take care of himself and his children. It doesn't have to be multimillionaire as far as I'm concerned.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd like that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's
but the core of the person. It's the core of the person. Is somebody has to understand you with what you do and how intimate you are with your shows. You can read him pretty well too. How insecure is he going to be?
Well, that's the thing. Yes. I want. Where's that fine line between a man who is very secure but isn't domineering?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in living together. The older I get, I'm thinking, well, maybe, maybe if I'm 85 and I think I'm going to fall, but I don't believe in, I think you ought to commit.
Okay. Before you live with somebody.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about premarital sex then?
Well, I think it's necessary.
Okay. So that part of the good girl we leave behind.
But I'm not talking about hooking up. One of my college kids, there's males in my college, and he said they call me at 4:00 and say, I want to hook up. One of 17 males in a woman's college, and then they go out on a date. I said, just for sex? He said, yeah, just for sex. They don't want to be tempted with the guy they're going out with. I went, what? Then what are they getting out? Just having sex with you? I mean, I don't understand all that. Where is the emotion and the love that you're giving?
Yeah.
But you've argued that for centuries. So
right. And
he's telling us we have to hang
out. I know.
Oh, can I come back?
Oh gosh,
I love this.
Yes.
I love this. I love this. You're just remarkable. I enjoy this a lot.
Oh, I would love to have you back. Well, I think I'm going to find a way to make you a regular guest host.
Come in, we can talk about the world.
Absolutely.
You should have seen the guy I met last night. Now I'll call you tomorrow. We'll go out on a double date. How's that?
That sounds good to me. We'll have that 3-hour tour.
Yes, we will.
Well, thank you so much. DawnWells.com. Maryann from Gilligan's Island, a delightful, the newest winner of Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, and whimsical. What is the name of the clothing line?
Wishing Wells.
Whimsical. Wishing Wells.
That doesn't exist, though.
Yes.
That's kind of, we'll see.
But we'll see. I really think it's clothing for those who can't dress themselves. And I think that's the kind of creative thinking that if we can all reconnect with, then this planet will be such an amazing place, and quit talking about who did wrong and bad and all of that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're up against the end of our show. So we are going to do our balance bar. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. My little magic wand. And there we go. Hold on 1 second. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Super duper. I'm so glad that hold on 1 second. There we go. I am so glad that I had this brainchild to do throwbacks, because so much wisdom, so much fun, so much everything. And I hope you enjoyed her as much as I did again. And that I have 1,299 shows in my, what do they call it, in my pocket, in the vault. And so Thursdays is the day that I am reaching back and just sharing some of the great people, especially those who are on the other side now. Dawn Wells, if you just tuned in, you can get this free subscribe on my YouTube channel. And I'm so happy that we have so many wonderful people in my cashew gallery this morning, and that we had a lovely time with chatting and sort of giving some cashew gallery comments in the background. And I'm so glad that the names I welcome for the first time from Canada. We have here Alan Barsness, Winnipeg, Alberta. Welcome, welcome. Always love having people from my birth country. And welcome back to Leo, who's my new regular, a supporter of the show. And also Nemesis of Eden, who I haven't seen in a bit, but so glad to see you back here. Happy New Year, happiest New Year to all. And to all a good night, to all a good day. Thanks for joining me today. It is all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Don't forget, tomorrow is, I wanted to show you. Tomorrow is Straight Talk with Ricky Rebel, but I did want to show you, I did get that book. You can still get this book, actually, and it's fabulous. A Guide to Life, What Would Maryann Do? And the cool thing
that she didn't talk about is there are tons of pictures from her show, from her life, that are just gorgeous. So, and she did write Marissa to a very lovely lady and new friend. Love, Dawn, and I'm so grateful that I got to really share a lot of her life. And that's the best thing about this show is the people I get to meet, and I'd say like a good 88% I can call friends, and for that I am truly grateful. And we didn't do the gratitude sandwich breakfast, so I guess we'll finish off. I have a couple minutes now. I'm grateful that I got to be friends with Dawn Wells. And who was it that I saw here say she actually died of COVID complications? And we got a great question here. Did you girls go on a double date? We went to the horse races with Gilligan's son. That was super fun. There were guys there, and it's really interesting, the thing that she was talking about. The guys are all over her, and it is that crush thing. So it wasn't easy for her to have a guy who wasn't thinking about Maryann from Gilligan's Island. And so that was definitely the challenge for sure. Also, Leo liked that question. In the end, it was, the whole thing around her not having children was something that was definitely on her mind. And I wrote earlier, I spent some time trying to get her hooked into the preemie programs in the hospital that I had heard about, where people come in and spend time holding, and by the time that it would have made a big difference for her, I think, in her own mental health, they didn't have those programs anymore. So that was, I don't have regrets in life, but that is the closest thing to a regret that I do have in my memory, was that I wasn't able to do that for her. But I don't know if Amy's listening or not. Amy came to the studio, was her assistant for a while. We still talk about how we miss her, but I know she's not gone. Her love and her positivity and her spirit, she's part of me. Tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft. I haven't thought about her, and that's like the reality of Throwback Thursdays for those who are on the other side. But I know where she is. I know from my NDE guests that I've had lately, near-death experiences, that she's in a beautiful place, and she's not alone, and she has all the love and more to give and to receive, and that's where she is now. And I just know that, wow, she really left a beautiful legacy for us all. So I'm hoping y'all can be a little more positive today. How's that? And living out her legacy. And if you really want to put the rubber to the road with that, sign up for my 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa, which is on my website. It is under, Choose Happiness 21-day fast. So if you want to change your life for $21, that's what you're going to do. It is a donation to my nonprofit. And if you do 21 consecutive days, I will give you $42 back. It is honor system, but hopefully you will take this challenge, maybe challenge a friend or family to do that. And I'm out of time. Thanks for joining me today. It's all about balance. And I'll see you tomorrow with Straight Talk. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.